a St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist, and he is a contributor to the Big 550 KTRS every Tuesday and Thursday.
Is he going to wobble in here?
I believe we have him via his phone, but hopefully he has one of those megaphones hooked up to his ear so he can hear us. Turning 50, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Messenger, St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist. Good morning, Tony.
Hello, is that you, McGraw?
Well, we better hurry up because I know you're having dinner in 45 minutes. Thanks for joining us.
I want you to know that literally this weekend I got my AARP application. It's amazing. They get that sent to you before you turn 50. They want to make sure. So I told my wife I got the check sent in this weekend because we have a trip coming up to Kansas City for a wedding in the family, and I'm getting that discount from my hotel. I'm getting my $12 yearly AARP registration fee taken care of with that first hotel discount. I am proudly going to present my old man card and get that discount, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, now all you are is a special interest since you're with the AARP. That's all
I
you
know.
are.
I have to disclose my various problems every time I'm on the air now. AARP member, Tony Messenger.
You did have a column about turning 50, but I do want to take a couple minutes. You wrote before that. You wrote a very honest and open column about your daughter and about sexual harassment and this Cora Faith Walker. You very much believe her. The headline to your column was, "She's no angel, but I still believe her." Talk about that for a moment, because you broke the story and you revealed a very personal side of this story.
Yeah, part of an important part of that column, for those who haven't read it yet, and if you haven't, you can go to stltoday.com and see it, is there's a hashtag on Twitter called I Believe Her, and it talks about the rape culture in America and what normally happens in rape cases and in cases in which sexual assault allegations have been made is that the women who are victims, one of the reasons that so many women who are victims of sexual assault don't come forward is because they're afraid people aren't going to believe them. They're afraid that even people close to them, such as their fathers, aren't going to believe them. And in the piece, I talk about a woman who had accused Steve Roberts Jr. a year ago of sexual assault, who I had also written about previously in a column. Again, he was not charged in that case. No charges were brought by the prosecutor. The same special prosecutor looked at that case that looked at the Cora Faith Walker case. And one of the things she told me last week was that she had never told her father until I wrote about her in my column. And I found that heartbreaking, and it caused me to have a conversation with my own daughter. I had some suspicions based on some discussions that we had previously that she had been sexually assaulted, but she hadn't confided that in me. And I asked her about it last Thursday night, and she did confide in me that she had been sexually assaulted when she was younger. And she hadn't told me, and she hadn't told hardly anybody in her family. And she still doesn't want to talk about the details, and obviously I won't press her on that. But the reaction to that column from women and men, but primarily women who had been sexually assaulted and similarly hadn't told their stories, either hadn't filed charges or hadn't told parents, hadn't told family members. I heard from a mother whose daughter was sexually assaulted in high school, and they didn't find out until a couple of years ago because the daughter was afraid to tell. And it's amazing how many cases there are out there. So the column to me was much more about that concept and standing up for victims than it was this one specific case that is likely at this point to get adjudicated at least in a civil court of law to some degree. And it was very personal, and I'm glad I wrote it. My daughter's glad I wrote it. And you know, to all the women who emailed me and called me and told me their stories, I'm grateful, because it just adds to my understanding of this very important topic.
Is your daughter, is she the police officer?
No, it's not my police officer daughter. You know, this is one of the things that I got an email from a guy yesterday that says, you know, you really shouldn't write about your family like this. And my family understands that part of what I do as a columnist is share myself with the community so that readers can have an understanding of my biases when I write about topics. And I always talk to my family before I write about them, at least most of the time. And but no, this is I've got 3 daughters and 3 sons, and you know, big spread out family. So I made sure I identified her age. She's not the police officer.
Gotcha. Tony Messenger with us. We'll leave it there. It was a pretty powerful column. STLtoday.com. It's out there. And, of course, turning 50, which you talk about the changing political world. And are you turning 50 next month?
In 4 days. On Friday, I turned 50.
4 days.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Happy
3 days. See, I forgot how to do math now because I'm getting so old. But Friday, I will be 50, half a century old, and I sprained my hip last week. Oh, it's amazing what happened.
Yeah, you were walking down the basement stairs and you hurt your hip, right? Was that the story?
No, I was actually at my son's year-end baseball party, and you know, somebody brought out a pitching machine, and so of course all the dads are reliving our glory, showing our kids we actually know what we're talking about when we teach them how to hit a baseball. And I got up there and I had a couple of swings that felt pretty good, and I decided to let one go. It was not a good idea. I literally, for the first time in my life, heard a pop in my hip, and I'm like, that can't be good. I don't think that's a normal sound. And so, you know, these things happen as we get older.
Well, Tony, we don't want to take you away from your lunchtime, so go out and have a little lunch, and we'll talk to you.
I've got a nap scheduled first.
Tony, have a good week. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Thanks. Good to talk to you both.
All right. Tony Messenger, St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist, wrote a column that he's turning 50, as you heard, on Friday. I don't know what I'm laughing at. I'm turning.
Yeah, it's right around the corner for you.
I'm turning 50 in February.
Oh,
which
boy. Enjoy these last few months in your 40s.
I can't believe I'm turning 50. My sister had it right. When she turned 49, she told people she was 50.
Just to kind of get used to it?
Yeah, so the whole year they're like, you're not 50, you're 49. She's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm going to be 49 again in February.
Yes.
8:26 here, Big 5.